Hi again, everybody, and good afternoon, and welcome to the 1998 Pigskin Preview Show. I'm Bill Phillips, along with Don Sloan.
It's kind of odd sitting here not saying welcome to Sports Friday or Sports Sunday.
Different.
Actually, I guess you could call it Sports Sunday afternoon, the Pigskin Preview. But we'll take a look at the high school football previews of all of the area teams, and we start off in Ohio with Division II, Region 7, a pretty good crop of teams.
Sure is.
Tim Bain doesn't mince many words. As he put it, this is the Flintstones. We're going to grind it out and play prehistoric.
And they're going to know when they play us that they're going to have to stop the run. And that's what we teach, and we're going to be physical as we can be, and we're going to come off the ball and smack people off the line of scrimmage.
If there are concerns, it is the development of the interior lines. But they have 25 seniors and like their leadership.
I think you start that list off with our seniors, Charles Tansmore. He's done a very good job in the weight room since basketball ended, and he hasn't missed a day. Sean Zolad, he'll be fighting for a starting quarterback spot. Right now he's got a little bit of relief. You look at our offensive line and Kevin Duck and Pat Benton. On defense, we got Terry Smith and Mike Wolf back. Craig Gaynor's coming back off a knee injury, but he seems to be 100%. He's going well. We got Chad McFadden. He split time at running back last year. He's back. We got a lot of people that got some playing time the last 2 years, and now it's their turn to step up and take their turn and to shine. We're looking to get above the 500 mark. I mean, it's been a slow process, 2-8 to 4-6, and we were in all the games last year with the exception of one. And you know, I know that's what they want, and they know that's what we've been working to do. So yes, I would be disappointed if we did not end this season with a winning record, no doubt about it.
The revamped schedule includes the likes of Walsh Jesuit, and it all gets underway at New Philly September 4th.
East Liverpool is going to be good, real good. This is Bob Thayer's third season as head coach, and he's done an unbelievable job. The Potters went 8-2 last season and 9-1 his first year, after going combined 2-28 the 3 seasons prior to his arrival. The turnaround has come despite beefing up the schedule.
Well, Don, we try to add one more quality team each season. This year we've added Steubenville Big Red, which is a game that I'm sure that both communities are looking forward to. And we've also added Lorraine Southview, a very strong Division I team. So, yeah, the schedule will be strong. Our league is strong this year with Buckeye local, Edison local, and Indian Creek all looking to have solid teams again. So our schedule will be tough.
Tailback Robert Jackson emerged as a major factor on offense late last season, and he should be an even bigger force this year. Zach Jones and Mike Swanson will also get their share of carries at tailback. The Potters also have 3 fullbacks: Chris Rail, Matt Salisbury, and Ryan Roberts. The quarterback is Maurice Brown. He racked up 1,400 yards of total offense last season and is 8-1 as a starter. The offensive line averages 245 pounds and is quicker than last year. Josh Milhone, Jason Weimer, and Seth Francis are the returning starters. Josh Ludwig is back at tight end. Matt Salisbury leads the defense from his linebacker spot. He picked up over 100 tackles each of the last 2 seasons and was honorable mention All-State, as was defensive back Robert Jackson.
We've kind of grown into the situation, Don, where people expect big things from us, and we've got some experience coming back. So there is a lot of pressure on these young men, but it's the kind of pressure that we've worked to get.
Liverpool opens the season at Oak Glen Friday, September 4th.
Edison fans can expect a lot of improvement over last year's 3-7, provided they can survive an eye-popping schedule which includes Bel Air, Brook, Liverpool, Big Red, Indian Creek, and Buckeye local. Greg Bain likes the fact that he has kids who enjoy playing football, These guys even like practice. Virtually all 50 of them will contribute something either this year or down the line. As freshmen, this year's juniors clobbered people, and their junior and sophomore classes look like back-to-back trouble for opponents. The key to 98 is a dramatic turnaround on defense where, frankly, they had all kinds of problems in 97. The quarterback is returning veteran Stevie Moore. The Wildcats lost 2,000 yards of offense when Billy Leak and Buck Bonoski graduated, but there is a deep stable of quality young running backs who are prepared to emerge. They have to be able to control the ball in order to succeed. Other mainstays include Bobby Van Dyne, Billy Shannon, Anthony Aloja, Jason Sutton, and do-it-all guy Josh Meyer.
Our goals, is to play every game and play as hard as we can for as long as we can and let the chips fall where they may. And with the schedule we play, we have no choice. And, at the end of a 10-game season, we hope to be close or, a playoff contender.
Edison hosts St. C Friday, September 4th.
Touchdown, Philly. New Philadelphia went 3-7 last fall under first-year head coach Joe Studer. The season ended with a disappointing 49-7 blowout loss at the hands of arch rival Dover.
The Dover loss, was that a pretty good inspiration for these kids in the offseason?
I think so. They really made their mind up. We got together the week after that and set some goals and, about doing what you're saying you're going to do and getting in the weight room and it would start there. And we had to just fundamentally improve so much from last year. Fundamentally, we just weren't a very good football team.
Philly will use a three-man rotation at running back with Greg Brandt. Cut outside, 25, 20. Brandt is going to go. Chad Obule to the first man. Obule breaks it across. That's it. And Todd Bracken.
We're not going to change a whole lot. We're just going to try and get better at what we're doing. And with those three guys in the backfield, we feel pretty confident that, they're going to execute things, and they do have some athletic ability.
The offensive line returns three starters. Center Troy Miller, guards Brian Tipka, and Steve Allison. David Shannabrook will start at tackle after being injured much of last season. Senior Chad Dorsey is the front runner at quarterback, with junior Ryan Range pushing him for playing time. The main receiving threat is wideout Danny Burson. Seth Hostetler is back at tight end and linebacker.
When we get into a new league, which is a new situation for us, so we're going to see a lot of new teams there, and we're real excited about that. And it should just be a real upbeat right now and optimistic and hoping for good things.
The new league is the East Central Ohio League with teams such as Cambridge, Meadowbrook, Dover, and Claymont. New Philly opens the season Friday night, September 4th at home with Buckeye Local.
It's been 10 years since Big Red last played for a state championship. Hard to believe, is it not? These kids were just entering primary school at the time. Over the next couple of years, they might just take quite a few victims to school on the finer points of football. They got all kinds of offensive weapons and depth to boot. The quarterback is Matt Vane, Jason's younger brother. His wideouts look like Chris Carter clones. You have Stevie Phipps at 6'3", 208, John Healy, 6'3", 190. The tailback is Carlton West, who ran for just shy of 1,000 yards. And Reno won't permit me to mention any sophomores' names, but here's one I think you're going to like. The offensive line is bigger and stronger than they've had. The left tackle is Jared Angelica at 272. The left guard, Mel Chamberlain, no relation to Wilt, checks in at 330. The center is Brad Edwards. Former tackle Jared Zapolnik is the tight end. Reno feels real good about the offense and believes a young, aggressive defense will gradually get better. The key early is controlling the ball on offense. They don't want to go 3 downs and out, thereby putting the heat on a defense that needs time for maturity. Rayan will be here Thursday, September 3rd.
I expect this outfit to win, put us back on the map.
Well, some very solid ball clubs in there, Don. Buckeye Local at the top of the list, East Liverpool, Big Red. You go right down the list, Edison, the whole gang, a number of really solid teams.
A lot of good clubs and a lot of exciting games. When you look at Edison, Big Red, East Liverpool, they all play each other. Buckeye Local in that mix, New Philadelphia, they're looking for room for improvement. So it should be an exciting year as far as those teams in Ohio Division II.
Big Red, a game of the week just around the corner. Coming up this week, as a matter of fact, Big Red will open against Youngstown Rand. We'll have a preview of that in a little while. We'll also have that game coming up right here on WTOV9. But right now, Don, we have to jump the river.
We have to go across the river and check in with West Virginia Class AAA, and we'll do that after this break.
And welcome back to Pigskin Preview 1998. We are getting ready for the upcoming season, and we get ready now for some of the big schools in West Virginia.
And we jump across the river. We open with big schools in Ohio. Now we go over to West Virginia. And in West Virginia, we have 3 area teams, Brook, John Marshall, and Wheeling Park in Class AAA. Now, Brook and John Marshall, they're coached by Bud Billiard and Mike Linsky. Both of those guys have won state titles. But Wheeling Park, they've got a new coach in Mark Nardoni. So we've got the young and the new as far as the head coaches in West Virginia AAA. We start off with a look at Brook.
Brook was 6-5 last year, losing in an opening round playoff to DuPont. The hard truth is the Bruins are a modest 33-21 over the past 5 years. Hardly Brook football. They want to get back to the way it was in style of play. The wins will take care of themselves if they come off the ball crisp and get after people. Running to the ball better on defense is a priority. That Bruins swarm has been lacking, in part because of deficient lateral quickness. It all starts up front with seniors Tim Jones, Corey Rockhold, and Jeremy Stadler, in addition to juniors Mike Findling and Chad Hott. Offensively, they look real good at the skill positions with quarterback Billy Hunter, running backs Joey Nichols and Craig Sperlazza, plus wideouts Kirk Ferroli and Trent Henthorn.
If we can win one game right now and give ourselves a little bit of confidence, I think we're going to be okay. I don't know how far we can go with this bunch. We come into every season wanting to play an 11th game, and of course we want that one to get us to the big one, and I hope we can win it all.
John Marshall followed up its state championship season with a disappointing 4-6. That included a pair of overtime losses. The whole slate has been wiped clean as only 3 starters return on offense and 2 on defense. This is a situation where even the seniors are inexperienced. They could easily start 11 juniors on both sides. Mike Linsky likes their youthful enthusiasm, and there's been a real commitment to conditioning after the Monarchs got outscored 90-40 in the 4th quarter a year ago. Josh Rhine's little bro, Jared, is the new quarterback. Linsky says the junior has a chance to be the best quarterback he's ever had. All the mental and physical tools are there with this kid. Senior Josh Johnson returns at running back along with junior fullback Jonathan Wilfong, split end Zach Martin, and 300-pound guard Robert Greathouse, who can bench press the penitentiary. The key here is how fast can all these young components develop and mesh.
We got some speed. We got some kids that are catching the ball. We got 3 tight ends right now working that are all 6'4" and up. So we got some size. As far as looking at them on shorts and T-shirts, they're all All-Americans.
Mark Nardoni is the 4th head coach in Wheeling Park's 23-year football history and is the first Park alum to occupy the position. He'll attempt to do what his 3 qualified predecessors could not: establish a tradition. The offensive personality is getting a facelift. The run and shoot is out. Power football is in. They are hell-bent on pounding the ball with a play-action pass thrown in here and there. They want people competing for jobs, so everything is wide open, like the quarterback position, where they have 7 candidates. They want to find one who can run the offense, not win games for them. These are some of the faces you will see. Stellar running back Jay Johnson, fullback Eric Schuma with the beer keg legs, Jermaine Wade, Keith Donaldson, Casey Ball, Dave Polanski, Adam Stewart, Steve Ochap, Ryan Smith, Sam Ames, Sean Fordyce, and Noah Littman. It's a $20 cab ride around the 6'6", 300-pounder.
We're a big school. We have fine athletes. And if you can organize it and put everything together and let the coaches that we have here, who we feel are great people, coach, then there's no reason why we shouldn't win. And that's how we feel.
Well, Don, I guess we'll find out if Wheeling Park can get the job done. Coach Nardoni coming in, he wants to set a tradition and establish that. And, you know, Wheeling Park always right there, and always they've made a trip to the state championship game, came close to winning a state title, but now is he going to be the guy that's going to get them over the top and get that state title and establish that winning tradition year in, year out?
And we'll see in Brooke and John Marshall, both of them looking for big seasons as well after opening up the season Friday night. Well, when the show returns, Pigskin Preview, we'll go back to Ohio and look at Division III.
And welcome back to Pigskin Preview. I'm Bill Phillips. He's Don Sloan. And Don, here are the names we're going to see in this upcoming section of Pigskin Preview: Beaver Local, Cambridge, Claymont, Dover, Indian Creek, Meadowbrook. Another solid group.
And this is Ohio Division III, Region 11.
Beaver Local is coming off an 0-10 season, and they're looking to turn things around with a new coach. The 3-year reign of Ron Saran has ended, and ironically, they've gone back to the future by naming wrestling coach Rich Wright as the new man. Wright and his staff coached under Saran's predecessor, Dale Stubbe.
Right there, that's Stubbe's offense out there. You know, Coach Stubbe, he taught me about everything I know about football, and that's Stubbe's offense, and we'll hopefully bring back the winning tradition that Coach Stubbe had.
Beaver is loaded at the skill positions. The hard-nosed Jeff Murphy and Eric Neville are the fullbacks, while Josh Stowica and David Drum are at tailback. Drum provides the speed, Stowica the power. The split end is Jamie Olmstead, who qualified for the state track meet last year as a freshman. Jamin Pastoria is the wingback. Pastoria started at split end last year as a freshman and scored 7 touchdowns. The Beavers use double tight formations with a pair of 6'2" tight ends, Jason Robinson and Brandon Ward, who was honorable mention All-State last year. 6', 265-pound Rick Prescott leads the offensive line. What about quarterback? Well, they haven't picked one yet. Juniors Jason Crawford and Nate Harper are both working on winning the starting job.
Once again, a pretty demanding schedule, a new program coming in with you taking over. What do you really realistically look for?
Well, we wouldn't want to play any different schedule. We're that size of school. The River Valley League's where we belong. We want to get back to being competitive against those River Valley League schools. We play all those rivals with Wellsville, so we don't have any easy weeks, but that's the way we want it.
The Beavers open at Lisbon Friday night, September 4th.
Cambridge boasts its best talent pool in several years. 9 offensive starters returned from a 5-5, and you better believe they'll feature a tough running game behind a big physical line. This is Big Ben Tedrick, 6'4", 300. Chris Shin is the center. Matt Berg and C.J. Gilcher are the guards, and Eric Fogel the tight end. The Bobcats have a nice setback tandem in fullback Ben Lawrence and tailback Gary Sigmund. The key to this whole thing is quarterback. Robbie Cravener is a senior and probable starter, but he's not real tall and has to prove he can throw in order to keep defenses honest. People figure to stack the line with 9 or 10 guys and defy them to throw. The outside weapons are readily available. You have Drew Hill and 200-meter track star Joey Ross. They'd like to get him the ball as much as possible. Another player to watch is Damian Womack, who has tremendous speed.
If our line comes together and we can get a passing game going and we can get those two things working, we're going to be okay. Come on, Craig, come on.
Craig Farrar is starting his second season as head coach at Claymont. Last fall, the Mustangs suffered through an injury-riddled campaign that saw them finish with a 3-7 record.
We're a lot farther ahead than we were a year ago. Kids are practicing real hard. They've adapted to the system real well, and we got a great group of seniors. So we're expecting to be better than we were last year.
Daniel Grove is the tailback. He set Claymont's single-game rushing record with a 296-yard effort last season. Doug Bezzosi is at fullback. They call him the Bus. But this bus doesn't stop for anybody.
Doug Bezzosi does a great job for us at fullback. He's a good runner on the inside, and he blocks real well for Daniel. And we got a couple of guards that got 10 games behind him last year, and Seth Hooker and Chad Doherty. We think our offense is way ahead of where it was at a year ago.
The offensive line will need to gel quickly with a new quarterback taking over this year. Seth Aviel replaces the graduated Tommy Gray. Aviel is small at 5'7", 150 pounds. But teams shouldn't underestimate him. He'll play big.
What would the strength of this football team be?
I think our skilled people. We have a real good tailback in Daniel Grove. Our quarterback will probably end up being Seth Abiel, but Greg Marsh is backing him up and pushing him real hard. We have real good wide receivers, and Jeremy Davis, Brenton Bonanno, and Adam Pittis, and our tight end Aaron Cottrell does a nice job.
Defensively, keep an eye out for this guy, Jason Edwards. He's a big play performer. Claymont opens the season at Minerva Friday night, September 4th. Just 28 seconds to go in the first half, and Von Kennel, he says, I'm going to put it up in the air. He gets popped. Passes. Dover's coming off back-to-back East Central Ohio League titles, but they're still knocking on that playoff door. Maybe this year they'll quit knocking and just kick the darn thing in. Dan Ifft is in his 4th year at Dover and is doing a heck of a job, going 6-4, 9-1, and then 8-2 last season.
Well, we've been fortunate. We've had great support from the administration and the community, and they're raising some pretty good kids for us and pretty good athletes. So we've got headed in the right direction, but obviously this year is going to be a real stern test for us.
Mark Von Kennel returns at quarterback. He threw for 1,300 yards last season with a 64% completion percentage and a school record 15 touchdowns while throwing only 3 interceptions. His backup is junior Jim McFadden. McFadden has a gun for an arm and runs like the wind.
And so we have to kind of mold ourselves into more of a passing unit. We threw about 18 times a game in the last 5 games of the season, and we hope to throw about 25 times a game this year if possible.
The running game will be handled by a trio of juniors. Colby Byram,
look at him go.
J.D. Clugston, and Zach Daly. Bill Schumacher is a returning starter at wingback. The offensive line is a strength with 4 returning starters. The tackles are 6'5", 250 Aaron Feller, 6'2", 255 Jay Koch. Seth Gintz, the center, checks in at 250 pounds, while 6'3", 215-pound J.T. Lauber returns at guard. 4 starters are back on defense, led by defensive ends Travis McClelland and Jesse Reniker. Barry McCoy is back at linebacker, while Rob Becker and John McIlvain will also be impact players.
Defensively, we're going to have to go probably more to a pressure package a little bit this year. And if we can do that, maybe we can force more offensive problems for the opponent as opposed to our read scheme, which has been successful, but at times it's gotten us in trouble also because we're just sitting there and they know where we're going to be.
Dover opens at home Friday night, September 4th, against Cleveland John Hay.
Indian Creek's success in recent years is like a broken record. 9-1, 9-1, 9-1. The players believe, they don't think they can be beaten. Chad Vanderborn is certainly a capable quarterback at 6'3", 185. The featured back will be Joe Hammock, a third-year vet at 5'11", 208. The flankers are Josh Otto, Anthony Farmer, and Brian Duncan, who posted nice numbers as a junior. The ends are Jordan Beebe and Paul Yates. Jason Taliani is the fullback, but is better known to the opposition as a hard-hitting linebacker. Up front, you have quality and depth with John Shruba, a 295-pounder, Jim Mack, 6'7", 290. And keep an eye on Ivan Morgan. The 6'1", 305-pounder has astounding speed for his size and may be used in a refrigerator Perry mode. Come to think of it, some of these guys may be too young to remember refrigerator Perry. Others to watch in various roles are Brandon Matuska and Trevor Cooper.
We expect to have a real good football team. I'm worried about our depth right now, worried about our team speed, especially defensively.
The Skins host West Muskingum September 4th. They are celebrating 25 years of football at Meadowbrook, and this is the 50th anniversary of football for the old Byesville Falcons. Steve Warden inherits a 5-5 from retired coach Joe Casper. The Colts expect to be really good up front and in the backfield. This is tailback Ryan Petrasco at 6 feet 190. The fullback is Jason Newell at 6'1", 225. Cliff Larimer is the quarterback, and another guy to look for in the backfield mix is Grant Casper. Unfortunately, their high-profile lineman John Scott missed this workout with an illness. The 6'5", 275-pounder is being recruited by MAC schools. Adam Dyer and Pat Ewell, a 270-pounder, man 2 of the other positions along the interior. Another stalwart, nose tackle Jason Gadd, missed this practice as well.
I've always said that, you know, if I ever took a job, I'm not gonna say that we're having a rebuilding year. I don't want to put any limits on our guys. I think we can be competitive with just about anybody on our schedule if we stay healthy and if we improve.
The Colts host River September 4th.
Bill, I'm the coach. Ask me a question.
All right, Don, Ohio Division III, Region 11. Who's your favorite to possibly make a playoff?
I'm the coach. You ask me a question.
Don, what do you think of the game coming up?
Well, Billy, we just take it game by game. We hope we avoid injuries, and you know every team on our schedule is tough. And if we slip up and just don't prepare and don't come ready to play, we're going to be in for a tough ball game. Week by week, game by game. Don't be asking me about the playoffs. That's so far away.
Yeah, but who's the favorite in Division III, Region 11 for the playoffs?
No. All these coaches, they all end up saying the thing. Game by game, one game at a time, let's not get hurt. Anyway.
Well, they're all coaches.
Let me look at this. I think Beaver Local is going to be improved. I think Rich Wright's doing a heck of a job up there. That's the crew of coaches that was there when Coach Stubbe was there. Then things kind of fell apart the past couple of years, and then they're back in the right direction. Rick Spencer, Cambridge has improved. I think out at Claymont, Craig Farrar is going to be improved.
He's got a year under his belt.
And I think that's important. I tell you what, Claymont is one of the best conditioned teams that I had a chance to look at. Dover is going to be outstanding. Dover plays Big Red this year. That's going to be a whale of a ball game.
It was a good ball game last year.
Indian Creek, don't underestimate Indian Creek. They lost a lot of folks, but they are still extremely talented. And Meadowbrook, I've heard a lot of good things about Meadowbrook, and they've got a new coaching staff. So look out.
If you listen to Don, everyone's going to the playoffs.
Everybody's going to play. We want to be optimistic.
We do. We want everybody to go to the playoffs.
Dover, Indian Creek are two threats. Playoff wise.
Two threats? All right. We'll find out. Hopefully, not just two, but all six might sneak in. You never know. Let's try and get everyone in
going in the region. Bill wants to send six.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with more after this.
We're going to go away.
And welcome back to Pigskin Preview. And Don, one of our first games of the year.
Why do they call it a pigskin?
Because I guess it used to be a pig's bladder.
Used to be a pig. All right.
Why wouldn't I know that?
I got to check. You're a baseball guy. I've got to.
Mark McGuire at home run. We're not sure.
Whatever. Just quit while you're hit.
Anyway.
I'm excited about it. West Virginia Class AA. When you stop and look at this,
now all four of these teams could reach the playoffs.
Two of these schools, Magnolia, Weir, both made the state semis last year.
So yep.
We've definitely and this year Oak Glen looking for improvement. Tyler Consolidated. I heard a lot of good stuff about them from their early scrimmages too. So
it's four schools that we'll be watching very closely all season long. Magnolia, Oak Glen, Tyler Consolidated, and Weir. Right now, take a look.
Let's do it.
Magnolia narrowly missed the big show in '97, losing in the semifinals at Grafton. It'll be hard to replace a half-dozen versatile performers from that 10-3 club, but the Eagles retain enough talent to be amongst the elite once again. Team-wise, they're not big, but there are a lot of sturdy bodies out here.
We've had a great weight room all winter, great weight room all summer, and it seemed like the kids were real together and real focused, and I just feel an air of confidence amongst my players.
Their fearless leader is the last member of the Caesar gang, Bubba, who brings a brutish mentality to both the offense and defense. The tailback is cat-quick Jamie Long. Jonathan Ricciardi and Chad Miller are the wideouts molded in the Air Caesar tradition. Josh King is a big 6'3", 225-pound tight end. Up front, you have the likes of Charles Hubbard, Matt Hott, and Danny Wright, all two-year starters. Absent on this day was big lineman Todd Licklider, who's been nursing a tender knee. Defensively, you have Derek Palmer, an all-stater, who led the Valley with 17 sacks. Jason Knight and Matt Polisco are also vets on the defensive side. Their biggest concerns? Zero depth, and big power teams might give them trouble. PK Poling and I can't figure this out. Whenever there are high expectations for the Bears, they lay an egg. When little is expected, they overachieve. With only a couple three starters returning from a 3-7, you got to be thinking the worst. But before we write them off, let's remember our history lesson. Team strengths include the front seven on defense and their punting game, but that's something they'd rather not have to feature too often. The running attack has potential with promising junior Matt Volino. As a sophomore, he scorched Tyler for 260 yards with his 4.5 speed. The team leader is this fellow, veteran lineman Alex McClung. Inexperience might hurt the Bears early. After scrimmaging the likes of Brook, they open at Weir, which is loaded, then meet Liverpool, which is loaded. Somehow they always improve over the course of a season, and if they survive the early siege, they could bother some people before the last leaves fall.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have to grow up in a hurry, because if we don't, we're going to get hurt. And we got some young guys, but we got some athletic guys on the team. Something we're not used to having a whole bunch of them. We've all had a lot of good ones in the past, but maybe not as many we have on the team this year. But they're inexperienced. So if they can get some positive things happening early in the season, this team could be very interesting.
If we are going to run a trap, weak side trap.
Tyler Consolidated was 4-6 a year ago, which was a classic case of underachieving in the eyes of John Stender. 6 starters return on either side of the ball, and the strengths of this edition should be the offensive backfield and the front 7 on defense. You have the dedicated Shane Thomas, who eats, sleeps, and breathes football. You won't get by Nathan Baker, not by the hair on his chinny chin. Chad Bailey is a reliable two-way lineman. Offensively, they'll feature the backfield tandem of Chad Northcraft and Darren Pardine. Daniel Furby is a tall, rangy tight end. Nick Reimer provides the outside threat. The most interesting competition is at quarterback, where 3 guys vie for the position. Todd Meckley is the leading candidate early in camp. Concerns are in the secondary, where only 1 player returns. They've also got to rebuild half the offensive line and find someone who can place kick. All things considering, the night should be very formidable.
The upperclassmen, the seniors and the juniors themselves, they expect the very best. I mean, they want to win. They want to get into the playoffs. So it's been a long time since we were there. I think these guys expect to be there.
This situation looks so good on paper, it's almost scary. Barring a rash of injuries or anything unforeseen, we have a championship caliber football team here. Anything less than a trip to Wheeling Stadium in December would be a tremendous disappointment.
Oh, without a doubt, George. We're very optimistic. The kids have approached this, that, this is what they want, and we're going to find out. Obviously, we got to go out and play and let the chips fall where they may, but I like what I've seen so far.
8 starters return both ways, including the best player in West Virginia, Quincy Wilson. The 4th-year starter exploded for 2,300 yards in Weirton's 10-3 run to the semifinals. You want some outside speed? You got it. Veteran Saidi Colliers is joined by athlete extraordinaire Ryan Jeter. Jeter hasn't been around football for a couple of years, but looks like he never missed a beat. The quarterback is Nick Gallardi, who toiled at Penn Hills last year, and the fullback is once again Dante Rosici. At middle linebacker, he was their leading tackler. Scott Jones, a swift 6'5", 240-pounder, will handle right tackle and rip into victims at defensive end. Senior veterans along the interior front include center Brandon Klink, guard Ryan Stevens, and 6'3" tight end Andre Barnaby. This is undoubtedly the best team they've had since the '88 club with Keith Jeter, maybe even the '83 AAA semifinalists with Monty Summers.
Well, George expecting tremendous things, as I think everybody in Weir is expecting
George
big
has been
things.
playing in the state title game already.
Got to get there.
They've just played 1 game.
They reached to the semifinals last year, had a great season, but once you get into the postseason, you need to make some breaks, and hopefully, if they can get to the postseason, you have to get to that first.
You want to play at least maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe 10 games. You want to play a few games before you start talking state title, but that's George.
That is a very solid
That's
football
our man,
team.
George.